प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञा भक्तिविनीतयः ईश्चातुगता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. In the previous class, we completed our discussion on the Ishavasya Upanishad based on the compilation done by Ramaraya Kavi. So from this class, we will be taking up the next Upanishad. Usually there is a verse which lists these 10 Upanishads. Ishakena Kathaprashna Gunda Mandukya Tirtharihi. So this is a way to remember the sequence. I don't know what exactly is the basis for the sequence, but this is how it has been sort of listed in these texts. Okay, from times immemorial, we don't know. So after Isha Upanishad, we usually study Kena. Isha Kena Katha Prashna. So this is how it goes. The Ishavasya Upanishad, as we were mentioning, is based on Shukla Yajurveda. So this is a Samhitopanishad. Most of the Upanishads come under Brahmanas. Now, today we will be commencing Kenopanishad. This Kenopanishad belongs to Samaveda Shakha. But even in Samaveda, there were supposed to be several hundreds, and there is a listing which says there were 1,000 Shakhas itself. Today, we hardly have 3 or 4 Shakhas remaining. The most commonly rendered Shakha is Kauthuma Shakha. So this is what we find. So many Pandits in the South India are trained in Kauthuma Shakha. There is another Shakha which is called Jaiminiya Shakha, and there is yet another Shakha which is also rendered by people. It is called Ranayani. Ranayani Shakha. Of these 10 Upanishads, this Kenopanishad and Chandogya belong to this Samaveda Shakha. But even among these two, so the Chandogya Upanishad belongs to Kauthuma Shakha, whereas Kenopanishad belongs to Talavakara Shakha. So it is called Talavakara Shakha. We don't find actually the name Talavakara mentioned by Bhagavad-pada in his commentary. Sometimes he makes a mention. But at the beginning of this Upanishad, he essentially starts by saying that this forms the 9th chapter. 9th chapter of what? 9th chapter of what we understand as Talavakara Brahmana. Chandogya Brahmana, so he is a huge one. So among that, Chandogya Upanishad actually occurs in the 7th Adhyaya of the Chandogya Brahmana. Okay? They call it Ashta Brahmana. Anyway, that it belongs to Kauthuma Shakha and it appears in 7th chapter is known. Whereas Kenopanishad, at the beginning, we find Keneshitam Ityadya Upanishad Parabrahma Vishaya Vaktavyeti Navamadhyayasya Arambhaha. So this is the first pankti in the Bhashya of Bhagavad-pada. So Navamasya Adhyayasya Arambhaha. So Prageva, etc., etc. So what happened? He summarizes and then proceeds with the explanation of this Upanishad. So this is as far as the overall introduction of Kenopanishad is concerned. So before we chant these mantras, it may be a good idea to chant the Shanti mantra of this Upanishad. Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotra matho balam indriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma aupanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarotu anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate yav upanishadsu dharmas te mayi santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's a very special mantra. Apyayantu mamangani vakpranas chakshusrotra mathobalam indriyani cha sarvani. So all these Shanti mantras primarily pray that may you be healthy, may the relationship that you have be healthy, which enables me to gain this profound knowledge. So this is the Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is how it ends. But what is the overall content of this Upanishad? How does it proceed? So I will explain all that. Before we move on, I will just chant this verse which is there in Vedanta Muktavali, and then we will come back. Okay? So let me chant the verse. You repeat. Yaschittendriyamaruteranakaraha
Yaschittendriyamaruteranakaraha Yaschittendriyamaruteranakaraha
Netrasya netranchatam
Netrasya netranchatam Netrasya netranchatam
Shrotra shrotramimam
Shrotra shrotramimam Shrotra shrotramimam
Hridopi hridayam
Hridopi hridayam Hridopi hridayam
Vachascha vacham param
Vachascha vacham param Vachascha vacham param
Prana pranamihadhigamya kushala
Prana
pranamihadhigamya kushalaha
Prana pranamihadhigamya kushalaha
Atmanamastaishanaha
Atmanamastaishanaha
Atmanamastaishanaha Tyaktve-mam tanumapnuvanti paramam Tyaktve-mam tanumapnuvanti paramam Tyaktve-mam tanumapnuvanti paramam Vishnoh padam shashvatam Vishnoh padam shashvatam Vishnoh padam shashvatam. So we will take up the commentary a little later, but I will give you a quick overview of what is conveyed in this verse. And then I will also provide the context of how the Upanishad builds. So here this verse basically tells Vishnoho padam shashvatam apnuvanti. Vishnoho padam shashvatam apnuvanti. Here Vishnu will be taken as Paramatma, not the Vaikuntha Sai. Vishnoho padam shashvatam, one who is all pervading. Vishnu. That is what it essentially means. Vishnoho shashvatam padam. So they will reach the Saidya of this Vishnu, who Astaishanaha Tyaktve-mam tanum. Astaishanaha, those who have dropped the Ishana. Yeshana. See, so Putreshana, Vittaishana, and so on. These are all Lokeshana. These are primarily three Yeshanas, those who have overcome that. Astaishanaha Tyatve Hemam Tanum. So Imam Tanum Tyatva. Pretya is the word which you find in the Upanishad. So Pretya means after the end of this life. Okay? so after the end of this life, once and for all, when you are leaving this body. Okay, so that is what is Pretya is the word which you find in Upanishad. So he is paraphrasing. Tyaktve hemam tanum. Tanu means the sharira. So Tanu is telling us. Tyaktve hemam tanum apnuvanti paramam vishnu padam shashvatam. Who will obtain? So here he says, prana prana nihadhigamya. Adhigamya means having understood. Having understood the prana of prana. All these phrases that you find are appearing in the Upanishad. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manaha, etc. will be there. So the rest of the verse is basically saying, so the one who actually impels you to get into action, yaha, that entity, okay, that entity which is Atman, that entity, Chittendriya Marudherana Karaha. Chitta Indriya, so the one who drives all this. Maruta Irana Karaha. Irayati means prerayati. Okay. So Marutherana Karaha. So the one who drives all these sense organs, the one who makes the mind function, the one who enables you to even take breath and so on. So all that, one who enables you to see. So this is how, but then it doesn't say it that way. That is what is very interesting. It only says Netrasya Netram, Shrotrasya Shrotram. Why is it said, etc.? We will see now. This is one of the brilliant Upanishads, really beautiful. I'll tell you some peculiarities when we take this, go to the mantras themselves. But this verse as such should be understood. This is a straightforward verse. Yes, Chittendriya Marutherana Karaha. So the one who is the driving force for all the Indriyas to function. If I am talking to you, it is because of a certain force which makes me to talk. If you are engaging in this class, so it is because of some drive that you have. So who is the driver behind? Yes, Chendriya Marutherana Karaha. The word Maruta. Maruta, how does it go? Vayu. Marut is Vayu. How Maruta? Marut is Vayu. Maruta. In fact, there is a special sutra in Kaumudi to derive words of this form. See, you may not know. Prajnadibhyascha. Repeat.
Prajnadibhyascha. Prajnadibhyascha.
Okay, there are a few words which have been listed starting from prajna. That is why he uses this prajnadibhyaha. Prajnadibhyascha kim bhavati. What happens? There is a suffix called an, and that will give the vriddhi. An. Okay. So this marut plus an, and this an pratyaya is in swartha. Swartha means it doesn't add anything to that. Okay. So raghuhu. So then raghava means, so belonging to, there is nothing like that. The same meaning. Swarthe means. So it is primarily to derive this particular form. From that, the sutra has been stated, and he has listed out all the words which acquire this form. Okay. Prajnadibhyascha is a sutra which you can go and see anyway. There are a few other words. In fact, Prajnadibhya I can first explain with the word Prajna is see Janatiti Nyaha. Understand? What do you understand by the word Prajnaha? Prajnaha means the one who knows. So So if you just say Prakarshena Janati, the form will be Prajnaha only. Why have Prajnaha? But Prajnaha is something which is used. Prajni. In fact, in my childhood, when we try to intervene, when parents are talking or elderly people are talking, my mother will say, or some elderly, my grandmother will say, Prajna Mari Purra. He is entering as if he is a Prajna. Prajna Mari Purka Varade. So this is what they will say. Don't intervene like a Prajna. Anyway, it's difficult to keep quiet also for many people. So here, so this phrase Prajna I have heard. But how does the word Prajna come? See, so that comes through this sutra. So Prajnaha eva Prajnaha. This is to be understood. Similarly, Marut. So Marutaha. So Marut plus An will become Marutaha. Okay. So that is the form which he uses. Anyway, that is the grammatical peculiarity. Yaschittendriya Maruderanakaraha. Then who is the eye for eye? Okay. Who is the ear of the ear? So etc. etc. If one understands this entity to be Atman, okay, the one who understands this entity to be Atman, he transcends all this. Shashvatam padam apnuvanti. This is what the verse basically says. Now we need to understand this verse in greater detail by reading the commentary a little later. But before doing that, I will try to present to you what exactly this Kenopanishad is and how does that begin. Okay? So that will be useful to you. The very name Kenopanishad comes from the first word in the Upanishad. So these are a few, very few Upanishads, like the Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasya Midam Sarvam. So the other Upanishads, so they are not like that. But here, this is the name by which it is called. So this is one simple thing that we need to know. The first mantra begins with the word Kena. Okay. So how does the mantra go? The mantra goes as Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha Kena pranaf prathamaf praiti yuktaha Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti Chakshushrotram kaudevo yunakti. Yunakti means who tries to tie you. Okay. So all these indriyas, how are they set into action? Okay. So when you tie something, the action happens, right? So how are they connected? Kaudevo, who actually provides the impelling force. That is the idea. Kaudevo yunakti. This is a question that is being asked. But we have to understand the larger context in which this appears. I will bring that context also. What makes him ask? So what should be the background of the student to ask, etc. will come to. But the overall structure of the Upanishad is basically made of 4 khandas. The overall structure is made of 4 khandas. They are all short ones. The first khanda has some 9 mantras. Second has some 5 mantras. Third has 12 mantras. And the fourth also I think has some 9. So this is all. It's a very small Upanishad, which can be just chanted in 6-7 minutes. Okay? It's a very small Upanishad, but a very beautiful Upanishad. I don't think there is any other Upanishad like this Kenopanishad which begins with a question straight away. Okay? So it begins with this question, Kene Shitam. There are various episodes which are narrated at the beginning of the Upanishad itself. So this person went to this person. So this sage was approached by these people. There are various things, episodes. In fact, Ushana Havaiva Jasra Rasaha. Kathopanishad begins with a story. Ishavasya Upanishad actually begins with a statement. You have to understand, it is not a sentence, statement. Statement. A very profound statement. Ishavasya Dilavasaranam. Okay, rather it can even be thought of as an injunction. But Kenopanishad actually starts with a question. So the inquiry. Okay. So now this question which is being posed is a very profound question which seems to be coming out of a person who is well informed, who has thought over and comes up with this question. So we will get into that question later. So this first khanda, okay, begins with this question. Then the second mantra, so the teacher answers. What Ramaraya has done is primarily to paraphrase the first two mantras. So that is what he has done in this first verse. The first verse is essentially a paraphrase of the first two mantras in some form. Though he has not presented it as a question, he has simply presented it as an answer. So the content of that has been presented here. This structure of the Upanishad itself is very beautiful, as I was mentioning. So because the first khanda starts with the question and the answer. And then the teacher elaborates, so the answer itself with a few more mantras. So there it ends. The first khanda ends. 9 mantras are over. Then the second khanda, the teacher actually tries to find out whether the student has got the answer. So he has presented it in such a way that it doesn't seem to be a straightforward answer to the question. Suppose I ask you, Kena idam karma kritam. So what will you say? Tena idam kritam, right? Who did this means? So you will just simply reply, Ramena kritam, Krishnena kritam. So this is how you will say. But you don't find that kind of an answer. It simply starts Shrotra, says Shrotram. Okay, Manaso, Manaha. So this looks like a puzzle. The answer seems to be a puzzle. Anyway, so having given that answer, so he further elaborates, this is the way it can be done and so on and so forth. Then the second khanda starts with a certain way of shaking the student, so to know whether he has understood well. So then the student also answers in a very smart way. So we will read the commentary a little later, how Bhagavad Pada brings in the context. So student answers. The teacher was pleased, and then he immediately says, so the one who knows this knowledge, it is a Palashruti, okay, the one who knows this knowledge gains this, and the one who does not know this knowledge, so loses this. Okay, this is how in fact it goes like, Iha cheda vedi dasa satyamasti, nachediha vedi in mahati vinashtihi. This is how the second chapter ends, second khanda. Iha cheda vedi, iha ched means right now in this janma. Okay. Aridu aridu, mandadai, pirattal aridu. Okay. So, adaninum aridu and so on. So therefore, iha cheda vedi dasa satyamasti, nachediha vedi in mahati vinashti. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhira pretyasmaloka amrita bhavanti. So this is how more or less the Upanishad is over, Palashruti is taken. But then comes the episode part of the Upanishad. So in the third khanda, there is an interesting episode which is being built up. Why is this episode brought in? One can think of a couple of reasons as to why this has been brought in. So having understood that the student has understood also, so the Upanishad brings in a certain episode that this is something which I will elaborate a little later, but it is an episode wherein the Devas themselves, okay, so they got really exhilarated because their fight with Asuras, they won the battle, and they thought that they had won because of their own might. You understand? So that is how the story is connected. So if you think that I do this, I do that, etc., etc., so there is a certain driving force inside me which makes me function. If you take that attitude, that will help you to easily get away with, okay, the negative values, and it will bring in a certain humility in you. Now, in order to bring in this aspect, so there is a certain narrative there, and the Devas were so proud, and this Paramatman, okay, in the Saguna form, comes in front of Devas, and then makes them realize that their attitude is not something which is worthy of maintaining anymore. So that arrogance is chopped off. So that is how the third thing goes. Devas themselves are arrogant. So Indra was far more. So therefore, when Indra came, so that entity did not even talk to Indra. Indra was so disappointed. It disappeared. The moment Indra came, it disappeared. Okay, normally when king comes, others. So here it was the other way around. So he was further ashamed, and then he started really doing some tapasya, etc. Then that appeared. Okay, so that is how the Upanishad goes. And the entity appears and it goes into the fourth khanda. And in the fourth khanda, some dialogue between that Devata, okay, in that Saguna form, with Indra happens. And it basically ends with what are the most important qualities that have to be imbibed by you in order to gain this knowledge. That is how it basically ends. Tassi tapodamah karmeti pratishtha vedas sarvangani satyamayatanam. So this is how the Upanishad is basically structured into 4 khandas. Now I will bring in a few sentences which have been stated by Bhagavad Pada at the beginning of the commentary to the first verse. Okay, this is called Upodkhata Bhashya. There I will read a few sentences. So this may be appearing right in the beginning somewhere. If any of you have, you can also follow. It says, Vishuddha Sattvasyatu Nishkamasyaiva Bahyat Anitya Sadhya Sadhana Sambandhat Iha Kritat Purvakritadva. Understand? Vishuddha Sattvasya. See, that is not very difficult. Simple commentary. Vishuddha Sattvasya means one whose mind is absolutely purified. Shuddha Sattvaha Visheshataha Shuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattvasya Nishkamasyaiva. Eva is avadharana. Okay? So one who is not craving for various things one after the other. Nishkamasyaiva Bahyat Anitya Sadhya Sadhana Sambandhat Ihakritat Purvakritadva. Ihakritat Purvakritat means all the comforts that you are enjoying today is primarily because of your own karma. Right? So that is why he is just saying Purvakritat Ihakritadva. Either done in this janma or done in the previous janmas. Sukha or Dukha. Okay? So Ihakritat Purvakritadva Samskara Visheshotbhavat. So the one who is Viraktasya means the one who is detached from all this Sathya Sadhana. Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa Pravartate. It is only for him, the person, Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa Pravartate. Why is Acharya bringing this? It is primarily to show you that this question that the student has asked. So it doesn't say which teacher and which taught. Okay, so there it is Yama, Nachiketas, etc. There are various names. Here it is not that. Straight away the question is being asked as a question which has a lot of profundity in it. So therefore he is saying this Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa. This Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa, why is he saying? Because see here, if we analyze this in our day-to-day experiences, we feel that there is a certain force behind every activity which is happening. So from the viewpoint of physics also, we have to necessarily accept whether Earth is revolving around the sun, okay, or any other activity for that matter, there is a certain force which is behind. Force behind every activity. Take for instance the light burns, the fan rotates, the speaker absorbs and then transmits. All of them are activities. So behind every activity there is a certain force. In some places it is mechanical force, it is something electromagnetic force, whatever it is. So it is this force as such, you understand, so which is responsible for some action. So for a certain action to take place, there is a certain impulse, there is a force which is behind it. So this seems to be something which has been understood by this person. If the bullock cart moves, so there is a force which makes this cart move, and that is being generated by the motion of bullocks themselves. How does that happen? I mean, there is a force for the bullocks to move. So a force is responsible for some action. So having understood this, so this person goes to the teacher and then asks, so all these, whether it is leg, whether it is eyes, whether it is ear, whether it is my hand, so all of them seem to be jada padarthas and they are set into action. What is this force which is responsible? That seems to be the thought process behind this question. That is why he is saying, this Bhagavad Pada, in his introduction, Pratyagatma Vishaya means within this Sharira he also sees that there are certain activities which are happening. So what is the force which actually activates all this? So that's why Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa Pravartate. So he indirectly hints us that the student who has approached the teacher, he is someone who has contemplated all this and he is a Virakta Purusha, and therefore he is asking a very profound question. Tade tad vastu, and this vastu prashna prativachana lakshanaya shrutya pradarshyate. He says prashna prativachana, see prashna prativachana. So that is how the Upanishad sets it. So this prashna prativachanam is basically, there is a certain question starting with keneshitam and the prativachanam will be shrotrasya shrotram. Now Bhagavad Pada says tadetad vastu. What is this tadetad vastu? Yaha preraka rupaha chetana rupaha. Chetana rupam yad vastu. Chaitanya rupam yad vastu. Tadetad vastu. Prashna prativachana lakshanaya shrutya. Here lakshana means swarupa. So lakshana, so lakshana here means tat swarupena. Okay. Prashna prativachana lakshanaya shrutya. So the shruti which presents itself in the form of question and answer. Keneshitam ityadhyaya. Okay. So that is how he brings in the introduction to this first question. He also adds a couple of things. He says, Kathakecha Bhuktam. Why? Why did Bhagavad Pada? See, this is something, if you have to read Bhagavad Pada's commentary carefully and enjoy it, you should know the style. Swapadanija Varnyante will be there. Now, Bhagavad Pada, having stated something in a short form, he will immediately justify by bringing in certain other Shrutis, etc., elaborate on that. That's what he does now. Kathakecha Bhuktam. Previously he said, see, Pratyagatma Vishaya Jijñāsa happened only to this fellow, he said. Now he will immediately reinforce that by quoting various Shrutis. He says, Kathakecha Bhuktam. The Kathopanishad which we will take up later. He says, Paranchikhani Vyatrinat Swayambhu. Tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman kaschit dhirah pratyagatmanamaikshat avritta chakshur amritatvamichan. Why is he bringing this Shruti? He is bringing this Shruti because the student has contemplated a lot about various things and then he has come to this teacher to ask this important question. What is this force within me which makes me see? What is the force within me which makes me listen? Okay, so that is the question. So here, Paranchikhani Vyatrinat. Normally we find people so just letting their senses to go and dwell wherever they feel like. But this student seems to have contemplated on certain things and then he is coming. See, kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam aikshati. Okay, so he wants to know the core person inside. Pratyagatmanam aikshati. Avritta chakshur amritattam icchan. Then parikshya lokan karmajitan brahmano nirvedamayat. Nastyakrita kritena tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva bhigachet. Samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtham. He brings in this also to just, this is all something which makes us learn how we need to approach this topic. See, so he says, Pariksha lokan karmajitan brahmanaha nirveda maya. So may he develop a certain dispassion towards the worldly things. Brahmanaha nirveda maya. Why? Nastya kritah kritena. Akritaha means this entity who is not something which is generated. It is there. Kritena means kritena karmana akritaha na labhyate. Okay? Kritena karmana kritameva labhyate na tu akrita. Okay? So that we need to understand. So that is what is the whole idea. Okay? So if you make some atta for ganji, so this is made, what you can make is only something which is generated right now. So this is Purusha which already exists. Therefore, nastya kritah kritena. Therefore, tadvijnanartham, in order to know that, that is what the student does. Tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva bhigachet. How? Samitpanihi. Okay, so may you go with folded hands. The Samitpanihi can mean two things. Okay, so the one who carries Samit etc., which may be useful for Guru. Okay, so the other option is Samitpanihi. So this explanation was given by Paramacharya once. Okay, so somebody was saying, that's what my father told me. I have not seen this him saying this. Once apparently somebody came, so then and then said, Kshamikam, I she was just saying. So as he was folding his hands, so Paramacharya quoted this mantra and then said, anyway you are a Samitpani, don't worry. See, that is good enough. So the Samitpani means, so tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigache Samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtham. So this has to be learned from a Shrotriya who has studied these scriptures well and who is also engaging himself in line with what he has learnt. See, that is why Shrotriyam brahmanishtham. So that is what is stated. So he quotes this ityatharvanecha. So then, evam hi viraktasya pratyagatma vishayam vijnanam shrotum mantum vijnatum cha samarthyam upapadyate nanyatha. So this is something which cannot be easily appreciated by others. So therefore he is saying, evam hi means only for this person, okay, who has developed a certain dispassion towards other things and a passion towards this knowledge. Pratyagatma vishayam vijnanam shrotum mantum vijnatum cha. See, there are three aspects you have to understand. So shrotum, anybody can listen. Mantum, then vijnatum. It is not a simple process. Even if you want to excel in Python, so you go and listen to the lecture, nothing will come. You have to work out some 20 problems. Then you have to face various kinds of troubles. So then you will understand. Okay, somebody has to train you. So this is where you are making mistake, right? So that is how Shrotum, Vijnatum, Mantum, okay? Samarthyam upapadyate nanyatha etasmacha pratyagatma brahma vijnanad samsara bijam ajnanam kamakarma pravritti karanam asheshato nivartate. Okay? So once you try to get the answer of this question and try to understand it thoroughly, then what happens? Karati shokamatmavit. He just quotes. Vidyate hridaya gandhi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante jasya karmani tasmin drishte varavare ityadi shrutibhyascha. So this comes in Upadghata. Then towards the end, it is a longish one, I will just not get into all that. So towards the end of the Upadghata, just before presenting, he once again paraphrases. He says, Tasmad drishtadrishtebhyaha बाह्य साधन साध्येभ्यः विरक्तस्य प्रत्यगात्म विषया ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा इयं केनेषितम्. This question he finally paraphrases and says, summarizes. So this question that has arose in the mind of the student is Pratyagatma Vishaya Brahma Jignasa. Okay? It is not just like that, how is this bottle, how is the cart moving, how is this flight moving. Okay? So it is not like this. So this is a Pratyagatma Vishaya Jignasa Keneshitam Ityadi Shrutya Pradarshyate. Then finally he says, Shishyacharya Prashna Prativachana Rupena Kathanantu Sukshmavastu Vishayatvat Sukha Pratipatti Karanam Bhavati Kevala Darkagamyatpancha Darishitam Bhavati. There are two aspects which we have to note here. He says, this Shishyacharya Sambhada Rupena. So what is being presented here? What is the purpose of it? He says, Kathanantu Sukshmavastu Vishayatvat Sukha Pratipatti Karanam. Sukha Pratipatti Nama Jnana. Pratipatti means Jnana. Sukha Pratipatti Karanam means, so it actually facilitates the learning process. Okay? So an ease in learning. Sukha Pratipatti Karanam Bhavati. Further, Kevala Tarka Agamyatvancha. Second aspect. So you may think that your reasoning is something which is superb and you will be able to reason this out on your own, but that may not happen. See, therefore he is saying Kevala Tarka Agamyatvam means mere tarka, mere ability to reason out may not help here. Kevala Tarka Agamyatvancha Darishitam Bhavati. So this is the implicit meaning that is conveyed to this episode. So that is what he is trying to say. Then there is an interesting way of presenting this. I will very quickly tell. In the second khanda, so there is a very important mantra which we will dwell upon. So there he is basically saying, so this is Vidita Viditaphyam Anyati. So this is the most important mantra in this. So there is, in the first itself he will say. So as soon after saying this Shrotasya Shrotam, so there is a mantra Vidita Viditaphyam Anyat. So this I will summarize and then I will get back to this. Viditam means, so that which is known, right? Viditam. Vididhatu, and there is a tapratyaya. In fact, so there was a mail from Aradhana, so asking that. Today morning I was discussing with that. So there is a tapratyaya. So this tapratyaya taktavatu nishtha. So there is a certain sutra. Anyway, there is a ta. Okay. This tapratyaya is added either in kartari or in karmani. Okay. Now when you say vididhatu, vidu means to know, right? So after vidu you add this kta pratyaya. So it basically is karmani. Okay. So there is a bhava karmano, there is a sutra. Karmani ta pratyaya means this has become an object of knowledge for me. So gaining knowledge involves a certain activity, and in doing so something is cognized by you. So then viditam, when you say that entity has become an object of my cognition, this is what we mean. Okay. Now when I say here, what is being stated is this Atman. Right? So this Atman is something which has to emerge out. Now he is actually seeing. So how can he become the object of cognition? So therefore viditat anyat. Okay. So viditam means vidikriya karma bhutam. So that is what it means. Viditam means vidikriya karma bhutam. So sometimes this tapratyaya can also refer to karta. So suppose I will give you a very simple example. Gataha. You take this example. Gataha means what? You can say Gataha Gramaha. Right? Gataha Gramaha, you understand, right? So the one who has gone to it. The Grama has been reached by him. Okay? But you can also say Gataha Devadattaha. So there is a difference between the two. The Tapratyaya is same. So Gataha Devadattaha Kartarik Tapratyaya. So Gataha Gramaha Karmanik Tapratyaya. So these are something which we need to understand. So unless we have this clarity, so we will not have the import of the verses thoroughly understood. Sometimes it will be confusing. In fact, today there was a doubt. Anyway, so all of you would have heard this verse, right? Prapanna parijataye totravetraika padaye. Right? Prapanna parijataya. You know Dhanush? Repeat. Tell the verse. You don't know? Aradhana.
प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः.
So this is generally stated before chanting Bhagavad Gita, right? So there is a description of Krishna. Prapanna parijataya totravetraikapanaye. You have the word prapanna. Understand? So all of them are similar. So you can understand in one or two places. So here the word prapanna. Okay, let me give you one more example, much more famous in Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna, after arguing with Krishna, he will go and say, Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. That fellow, having argued a lot with Krishna, so suddenly he felt that he has to submit himself. So he says, Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. So here you have the word prapanna. So here it is kartari. Okay, I have done. So now I have submitted myself. So here is a kartarik tapratyaya. Okay. So in the case of prapanna parijataya, you can either take it as kartari or you can take it as karmani. Okay. So this kartarik tapratyaya, karmanik tapratyaya, both are possible. Here in the case of viditam, when you say it is, so there how will you explain that prapanna parijataya? If you want to explain. So prapannaschaso parijatascha. You should describe Krishna like that. And then you should add the chaturthi. So prapannaha there means the one who is surrendered. Okay? When Arjuna says, I am the one who has surrendered. Okay. So here, so the kartarik tapratyaya and karmanik tapratyaya, you have to understand. So prapannaschaso parijatascha. Parijata means the one who yields whatever you want. So saha Krishna, prapanna parijataya. So that's how it goes. Okay. So this viditam is, so vidikriya karma bhutam. So karmanik tapratyaya. So you cannot describe Atman to be that. So if you say avidita, so that is also a bit of a problem. So therefore the Shruti will describe vidita vidita anyat. In fact, it will say anyadeva tad viditat atho avidita dadhi. Then he will go on and say iti sushruma. This is how we learn from our teachers, and that is how I have to describe you. So anyway, we will come to all that little later. But I want to tell you, this Upanishad is a very, very beautiful Upanishad and presents the subject matter in a very brilliant way. And I don't think there is any other Upanishad so which can match the beauty of this Upanishad. Straight away, getting into the point and then explaining. Okay? As a Prashna Prativachana, this happens in a very crisp form. Now let me very quickly take you through the commentary of this verse. Okay, so now I have provided you the overall picture of what Kenopanishad is. So here let me take you through the commentary of this. So here it starts. We will delve into little more deeply in the next class. Why should this be stated, etc., in this particular form? That will be taken up later. But here, what does it mean? So we know that the Shishya went to the Guru, and whatever answer that was provided by the Guru has been paraphrased by Ramaraya in this first verse. So what does he do? Atha Kenopanishad Vyakhyayate. This is how the commentary begins. Saguna Brahmavidaha Ishvara Praptihi Abhihita. So as he is writing the text in a sequence, so in the way the previous Upanishad ended, if you recall, so here he says, see, Suryosranupasamhareti kalayan ante sayati ishvaram. So this is how the previous verse ended. Okay? So that is what he is trying to recall now. Saguna Brahmavit Ishvara Prapti. It is not Parabrahma Prapti. Ishvara Prapti Abhihita. Now, Atha Brahmatma Vidaha Videha Kaivalyam Bhavati iti vadan tasya tattvam tajnanasya pradhanam angancha darishayati. A beautiful summary. Angancha darishayati. Okay. So how do you gain this knowledge? And what is this knowledge? Both of them has been stated here. Yaha. What do you understand by that? Yaha means Chittendriyamaruternakaraha. Iranam is a what is Iranam? Iranam means essentially Peranam. Ir dhatu. Ir basically means to throw away, to throttle something. Okay? So irati, irayati, both forms are there, and this is lut pratyaya. So Iranam. Okay? So here he says Indriya Marutera Karaha. Indriya, Maruta and Irana. So the one, Irana Karaha means, so the one who drives. Chittasya, Indriyanam, Chakshuradinam. So all of them have been listed. Okay. So Chittasya, my own mind. Indriyadinam, Chakshuradinam, Marutasya cha, Pranavayoscha, Irana Karaha, Prerakaha. Tam Netrasya Chakshushopi Netram Chakshuhu. Chakshushaha Chakshuhu. Chakshushaha Chakshuhu. Shrotra Shrotram means Shrotrasya Shrotram. Actually, what is the mantra? I didn't chant the second mantra, right? The second mantra goes Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyad Vacho Havacham Savu Pranasya Pranaha Chakshushas Chakshuhu Atimuchya Dhiraha Pretyasmal Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. Pretya Asmal Lokat Amrita Bhavanti. This is how the mantra goes. He is just trying to fit all those things in the verse. Shrotrasya Shrotram Hridaha Manasopi Hridayam Manaha. Here Hrid means Manaha. Then Yadva Buddherapi Buddhim Vachascha Vachopi Vacham Prana Pranam. So everywhere you have to understand that it is a Shashti. Pranasya Pranam. Paramam. Then Atmanam Kushalaha means Vidvamsaha. Okay, Kushalaha means Vidvamsaha here. See, Nipunaha, generally the word Kushalaha means Nipunaha. So here it is Vidvamsaha. Iha Asminneva Janmani Atraiva Dehe Itiva. So here you find the word. So Iha. Okay, so for that he is saying Asminneva Janmani. Okay. Atraiva Dehe Itiva Adhigatya Prapya Sakshat Krityeti Yavat. Adhigatya, Adhigamanam means Nyatva. Atayeva. So here, having understood this, see, if we try to understand the source behind all this, so that this Atman is something which is different from the Karyakarana Sanghata, then this Virakti is natural. Therefore he is saying Atayeva Astaishana. So they are actually reinforcing each other. Slowly you start moving from here. Okay? So you will be approaching closer to Atman. The more closer you go, the more away you will go. So these two will be reinforcing each other. So you should have some Virakti to get into. Okay? And then as you get into, you will develop more Virakti. So they will. So that is what Tyakta Sarvakamaha. See, in fact, he is quoting this Bhagavad Gita. Rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate iti Gita vachanat iti bhavaha. In fact, that is a beautiful verse. Perhaps I will elaborate tomorrow. Yadva or else kushalaha astaishana santaha atmanam adhigamya yityanvayah nishkamasya sanyasinaha. Nishkamasya sanyasinaha eva atmajijnasadhikarat. So in fact, you will see, so this Bhagavad Pada's introduction, so he was saying, so Viraktasya Shishyasya, he was repeatedly saying, one who has analyzed, one who has developed some dispassion, this person comes to. So he is trying to put all that in one single phrase, Astaishanaha Viraktasya. So for him, what happens? Imam prakritam tanum tyaktva. So this tanu which has been obtained by him by purva karma. See, in fact, that Shruti says pretya. So pretya means so once you leave this sharira. So prakritam tanum tyaktva. When does this happen? He says prarabdhavasane iti bhavaha. Only when the prarabdha ends. Otherwise, even in jnani will be keep wandering. He will keep wandering. He will do certain activities. But once this happens, prarabdhavasane paramam shashvatam vishnoho. Vishnoho means paramatmanaha. Padam swarupam apnuvanti. Prapnuvanti. Brahma sayigyam labhante ityartha. This is how we have to understand. Okay? Becomes one with Brahman. Becomes means there is actually no phenomenon of becoming. So it is only understanding. So anena sarvakamatyagaha pradhanangam jnanasyeveti siddham. Okay? So siddham means this is well established. Well established means he is a commentator. You have to understand. He is the author of the verse, but he is also the commentator. As commentator, he is trying to interpret the author. You have to understand. He is the same person. So, Brahma Sahibjam Labhante Ityarthaha. So now he is saying, why did I say this Astaishana, etc.? He says, Sarvakamatyagaha pradhanangam jnanasyeti siddham. Okay, so it is well established. So therefore, he is saying, Astaishanaha imam tanum tyaktva apnuvanti. So this activity, you understand? This activity precedes the aham bhuktva agacchami means. So that second kriya, okay, can be done only after this. So similarly here, so this is how we have to understand. Sarvakarma sarvakamattyagaha pradhananga bhutam jnanasyeti siddham sayeva jnanino lingancha. Is also a very interesting point. Lingam means an indicator. Okay? So suppose you are teaching some student. Okay? What is the lingam that the student has understood? So some smile should be there in his face. Right? He is just sitting like this. So then there is problem. See, so the lingam means, so you always, that is one of the problems now in teaching online. I mean, this class is okay, a lot of people have opened up the video. But when I teach this IIT students in some classes, only one or two fellows will open, and even some of them may not open. They will say bandwidth is not alright. So I have to find the novel ways of asking questions, get some feedback so that they are listening. And from their tone I can understand whether they have understood or not. Anyway, So this is the lingam. Lingam means jnanino lingam means see tyakta eshanatvam jnanino lingam. So that is the mark of a jnani. Mark of a jnani is that he will not hanker for things. Bhavinaha mokshasyavi saeva suchakaha. That is the indicator. So in fact he quotes yada sarve pramuchyante kama yasya hridishritaah asamartyo mrito bhavati atra brahma samashrute. Quote iti shrutehe atmanastattvam cha bhuktam. What is this atmanastattvam? He says chittendriya maruta irana karatvam netra netraditvancha. So we will take it elaborately in the next class. So we will stop with this paragraph now. आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमसोबलमिन्द्रियाणि तु सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म औपनिषदम् अहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां ममा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मन्यतते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्तिः 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 सर्वे सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ